I was just checking the line on the Mississippi State game. Texas A&M at 7 to 7.5 points
Yeah.
at home.
Uh,
Mississippi State seems to be a team, Andrew, that regardless of who they play, it's going to be a close game.
I was gonna say that might be one where even if A&M ends up winning, I think it's going to be closer than a 7 point game just because A&M's offensively just hasn't shown the ability with Zach Calzada to blow anybody out or move the ball consistently enough that you would feel confident taking the over on that spread. Now, obviously, they're coming back home. I'm sure they're hoping to get healthy on the offensive line and bounce back and play with all that intensity. But yeah, that line was larger than I expected it to be.
Now, at the same time, here comes a team that is going to present a completely different challenge to this defense, where Arkansas wants to run it first. Even the quarterback's more of a runner than a thrower. They're gonna run it until you prove that they can't run it. Then they're going to take the deep shot, obviously, to Treylon Burks. But otherwise, Mississippi State comes in with 67 passing attempts 2 weeks ago, 62 last week against LSU. Now they were behind, but still they were in the game and scored late to make it 28-25. And again, the week before, they played a down to the wire, very strange game in which they had a punt return blunder, snafu with the rules that resulted in a 95-yard punt return touchdown for Memphis. If you want to check that out, look it up on YouTube. So it's Mike Leach. He wants to throw it. They only threw for 371 yards. So on 62 pass attempts, it's a lot of short underneath stuff. I would think it would play into the hands of this defense that's long and athletic and can tackle in space and shut down those, passes to 3 and 5 yards and make them drive it the length of the field, which is difficult to do.
Well, here's the irony, right, of just the way the pass, A&M, I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to stick with the same sort of strategy they went with last year, and Arkansas kind of provided the blueprint, funny enough, for how to play against Mississippi State, of dropping a lot of guys in coverage, dropping 8 in coverage and forcing Mississippi State to sustain long drives and hope for turnovers and generating pressure that way. And I think you could see A&M follow a similar strategy of just dropping a lot of guys in coverage, forcing Will Rogers to make reads, make plays, and sustain long drives. And I think you honestly, with the way Mississippi State plays, could see that the other way. Well, defensively, what they're going to try to do, obviously, is also drop, rush 3 and drop guys back into coverage and force Zach Calzada to sustain drives. And so it's going to be interesting. But I think that's what you're going to see A&M do. And they're not going to run the ball, but as Jimbo Fisher said, Mike Leach has always kind of got a trick or two up his sleeve, especially coming back to play Texas A&M.
Yeah, 62 passes, 26 runs. A handful of those runs had to be out of pass formation and were just the quarterback, Will Rogers, scrambling. So
yeah,
they probably called 70 pass plays and about 18 running plays is about what they called in this game. They did get 6.5 yards out of their main back, Dylan Johnson. So I've tracked his numbers. And when they do run it, they run it fairly effectively.
They'll get their running backs involved in the passing game too, and kind of coming out of the backfield and try to get the ball to them that way. But yeah, I don't think they're going to be dialing up a whole lot of run plays. But you're right. When defenses are playing for the pass, they'll take advantage of that and take their yardage where they come. But otherwise they're going to try to beat you through the air.
You nailed it on the running backs getting involved in the passing game. You go year to year at Texas Tech or Washington State, and Mike Leach's backs will have 85, 90 catches out of the backfield. Now, last week, Jarkevius Marks and Dylan Johnson had 18 catches between them.
Yeah, because it's kind of on those little underneath routes. That's they kind of take their opportunities there and focus on on yards after the catch, and that's something they really focus on was, kind of getting their running backs involved in the passing game there.